We're going to be having discussions on twin topics, looking at the River State crisis and how we can also salvage democracy as a result of the ruling of the verdict, the ruling of the Supreme Court a few days back. And joining me to discuss these vital topics, starting from my immediate left, I have a seasoned public affairs analyst and also political analyst, and he is the convener of the Concerned Edo Citizens Forum, Roy Oribabo. Good to have you. Join me, Roy.
Thank you for having me.
Roy Oribabo is also known as the voice of the commoners.
Thank you.
And next to Roy is a seasoned legal practitioner and a social media influencer, a political analyst, and he's known as Dan Osa Ogbegie. Thanks for joining me,
Thank you very much,
Daniel.
my brother. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. And next to Dan Osa Ogbegie is another articulate legal practitioner, Joshua Abolagba. Thanks for joining, Joshua.
Thank you very much, sir.
And in the course of the discussion, we're going to be opportune to also have Eddie Asenogwan, who will also be joining us via Zoom. And looking at the issues concerning the rivers crisis, democracy seems to be on trial in Nigeria. Well, it's been on trial for years, and a lot has been said. What do the people bring on board as government functionaries in making a different narrative, you know, in bringing about respite for the citizenry? We hear about the hallowed chambers, you know, being burnt, you know, on Sunday night, and the House of Assembly is pitching the House leader to be involved in that issue of the burning of the hallowed chamber, also followed by the governor of Rivers State in the person of Siminalayi Fubara. A lot has been said, and issues are here. This impeachment notice being served on the governor, and also reports having it that they could also be forcing the deputy, you know, Ngozi, to resign, maybe to bring in the speaker as acting governor. This political intrigues in Rivers crisis happens to be mind-blowing. What do you have to say in this regard, Roy?
The issue of happening in Rivers State, it's an issue that we all expected. You agree with me that the former governor, Wike, is a man who is a man who needs power. You recall when he was contesting, keep on telling people, give me power, give me power. One would naturally expect him that in that kind of man that is possessed with power, you know, as a former governor, and you have a man who is a very gentle man who is also a governor, who want to take things very easy. It was expected. I forecasted 6 months. You recall in one of the programs, I gave them 6 months. It's quite unfortunate that they also disappointed that they were not able to make to 6 months before we saw what is happening. But by and large, the issue is very direct. The governor, the incumbent governor must be very ruthless in this, at this level. I must encourage him to do that. Because if he
Must
don't,
be what?
he must be ruthless.
He must be ruthless.
He must, because
You're talking about Siminalayi Fubara?
yes, Fubara need to be ruthless as this material does. Because if he don't do that, Wike is going to overrun. We all know the antecedent of Wike. We know what he can do. This is a man who be known to over 2 political parties, and party have not been able to question him. He sees himself as a demigod, you know. And the governor, the incumbent governor, must not take anything for granted. He should first face Wike in no capacity. What makes it wicked to be very relevant is it not because of the reverse money? Does the money he's fronting, and does it belong to his own father? This is reverse money. The incumbent governor could also take advantage of the reverse money. Let's go for it. That is the only way that man will breathe.
The reverse money you're talking about is the common patrimony of the people.
That is,
So are you saying that should be spent
as the voice of
at the
commoner,
expense of the deficit in infrastructure and development?
At the voice of the commoner, I am telling you now that there is nothing detriment. What is happening in Rivers State already is already affecting everybody. A situation where a House of Assembly will be raised now, that is also a financial burden on the state already. Therefore, if you allow Wike to have his way in Rivers State, there's going to be the situation will be worse. You will agree with me that Wike is a man. If you have followed Wike, at the time I was one of the supporters of Wike, you know, and it gets to the time, say, what really is the problem of Governor Wike? I said, no. That was when I had to disassociate myself from me. And I saw, you cannot, in present day Nigeria, in present society, you cannot demonstrate this kind of character that Wike is. If Wike is a man who believes in integrity, Nobody know the kind of the political party we can be not so now. He might be telling this man to also behave likewise. And the man will say, no, I can't do this. You know, these are some of the issues because there is already a credibility issue in all the whole process. We know that we can want to remain the leader in he want to be a leader in Rivers State, he want to be a leader in Abuja, he want to be a leader in Nigeria. You cannot eat your cake and have it. Wike cannot be omnipresent. This is the time for the governor, the incumbent governor, to say, I am taking the bull by the horn. You will recall that the former governor of Rivers State, Amechi was not able to access Rivers State in all the time Wike was the governor. I see no reason that Wike will not be going to Rivers State to be accessing it. The governor must stand up at this material time, and the party, PDP as a party, must mobilize to support their governor. They must do this because they will not allow Wike to take that state from them. They have got to this level that we must call a spade a spade. Since the society, Wike have decided to also be ruthless, the government need to be ruthless. And the people of Rivers State now to mobilize and show that support to their incumbent governor. Otherwise, as you said, the river people are those who will bear the brunt. Right. What are the issues? What are the issues?
Well,
really?
Thank you for that articulation. A lot of questions come to mind. And what do the politicians take the offices of governance for? Is it for their personal aggrandizement or for the people? And in all of this, it seems the people will be the one, at the losing end. What's your plight in that regard, Dan?
Well, first of all, I want to, quickly quarrel with my brother here.
Quarrel?
Yes.
Or tackle?
Yeah. Okay, maybe tackle him. Engage him, first of all, for using very uncomplimentary words and calling for violence or ruthlessness, as he said. You don't, I don't know, maybe because we cannot sit here and speculate on what is happening in Rivers State. We might not have the full information. Now, he said that he used to be a fan of Wike. I'm sure I also know when he started, or when he stopped being a fan of Inyeson Wike.
Oh, you know when he stopped?
Of course.
But he's saying that he's a fan.
Now, two reasons.
So are you saying that he's no longer a fan?
Yeah, but he said himself that he used to be a fan.
Okay.
But now he now said, what does Governor Wike really want? When he stopped, and what caused it was because, two, Wike stopped supporting Godwin Obaseki. That's one. Then two.
But are you not speculating?
Then two.
Are you not speculating?
No, I'm telling him he's here. He will tell us. He's here now. I didn't say behind him. Now, Wike stopped supporting Godwin Obaseki when Godwin Obaseki turned against the people who supported him to be governor in PDP, in Edo PDP. Then secondly, Wike did not support his candidate Peter Obi for president. So that's just the reason. Now, we all know that in Nigeria, when somebody, in quote, a godfather, maybe a governor, anoints a candidate to replace him, he likes to teleguide that candidate for some time. It has happened to every past governor, including his hero, Peter Obi. Peter Obi brought Obano as governor, to replace him as governor of Anambra State. And we all saw what happened, in Anambra with, Peter Obi and Obano. So it is a recurring decima in Nigeria. Whether it is good or bad will be a matter for discussion another day. So we cannot sit here and deprecate Wike when we have not really seen his hand in what is happening. What has happened in Rivers that we should quarrel with, that we should attack, is the burning down of the House of Assembly complex in Rivers State. And we know the reason why that happened. Members of the Rivers State House of Assembly decided to look into certain allegations of malfeasance against the governor of Rivers State. And maybe that was a first step towards taking steps for his impeachment. Suddenly, there's crisis. Suddenly, the complex was burned down so that members of the House of Assembly will not carry out their constitutional duty. Shouldn't you, as the self-appointed voice of the masses, quarrel with that? We cannot pick and choose. We cannot play selective politics. We cannot support people based on our whims and caprices. We must look at things holistically. We must look at things objectively. We must be able to denounce evil. We must denounce what is wrong. We must denounce what is bad. We must denounce what affects our democracy, because this is our common patrimony. We cannot say because I like this face, I'm going to support this person, even when he's doing wrong. Or say, oh, because I don't like this person, I will denounce him, even when he's not exactly doing wrong. We must look at that. Now, to also look at your question about maybe just make it more specific.
Still on this issue. You spoke about the fact that it has not been established that the former governor of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike,
even has a hand
in
what is going on. We don't know,
because we look at the reports credited.
And we cannot speculate on that.
The reports credited to the Ijaw leader and elder statesman Edwin Clark,
yes,
where he also, urged the president to speak to the former governor of Rivers State, who is now the FCT minister, Nyesom Wike, to sheath his sword.
His opinion,
all of this,
his opinion does not amount to fact.
All of these shenanigans we're saying cannot be, excuse the former governor of Rivers State from this fight.
No, before we even try to indict him or robe it in, we must be able to look at clear facts or connecting him to the situation on ground. But even at that, I started by saying that we know that when a governor, helps another person to become governor to succeed him, we see that most often than not, they try to guide them. And many people, including my friend Roy Rivabo, does not even know the history of Fubara. Fubara was just an accounting officer in Rivers State Civil Service when Wike became governor.
When you say just, do you mean to play down on the?
No, I'm looking at his history. Listen. I'm looking at his history.
It takes a whole lot to
concluded on his person. No, listen, let me finish. I've not concluded on his person. He was an accounting officer. Wike brought him and made him assistant director and made him a director. And from there, he made him chief accounting. What do you call it? Accountant general. Is it accountant general or something? He made him accountant general and then governor. The man was never a politician. He has never contested for councillor before. He has never got a political appointment. He was an accounting officer. So the point I'm making, it was because probably he saw certain qualities in him. Okay. For Christ's sake, if somebody mentors you to become something in politics, there's a level of appreciation. Okay, you can show to the person.
We are seeing all of this playing out in Rivers State, and sometimes the intrigues and shenanigans that happens in the political, in the polity, sometimes can be infectious, if not contagious. A situation where one state will now also pick up from where they left off. Now, let's get your argument on this, Joshua Abulagba. We are having a legislature that is fighting, the executive, and now reports have it that we are beginning to have the House of Assembly being split, where you also may be having two speakers emerging. What do you tell of this for democracy in Rivers State?
Yeah, with regards to that, it's quite unfortunate that at this present time when democracy should be seen to be evolving in Nigerian politics, it is daily taking a step backwards. And in Rivers State, because it's quite very unfortunate, at the end of the day, the people of Rivers State, Rivers State was seen as a state where, there is unity, and the governor could bring in someone that could succeed him. And despite the fact that the elections were conducted and a certain party won the presidency, another party won the governorship election, but there was seen to be, quote and unquote, peace in the state. And so people were, with regards to that, like happy that, okay, this man has been able to bring in someone that will succeed him, and maybe we'll give him a free flow, free hand to govern the state. But this has not been the case, what we have seen so far. And then this has not translated to issues coming up, like we have seen now with the legislature. And then again, you should know that the aspect of the legislature doing its duty as serving as checks and balances on the executive and all other parasters of government should not be, watered down by political sentiments, whereby those legislators have been elected into offices. They should do their job in fairness to the law. This is not, at the end of the day, whereby there people are being tear gassed, the complex is being burnt down due to allegations or insinuations that the governor will be impeached.
And even the governor was saying that, as alleged, that he was being shot at.
Yeah, the governor said, that he was being
shot at you, you won't die.
He was being shot at by the police. So imagine, the chief security officer is being shot at.
That's quite unfortunate.
That's what he said. It doesn't mean that we should believe him.
So
that's why I said that's alleged.
Yes, those
that's what he
allegations.
said.
So those allegations that he has made, that he was being shot at, and he's the chief security officer of the state. So if that truly happened, then that's not good. It's not taking democracy anywhere. We have been fighting since 1999 to sustain our democracy. But if we're having internal squabbles like this, what do you expect the international community to think about the Nigerian democracy?
Okay,
so
but what
does not augur well for us
okay,
at all.
But what does it tell us? You still have the floor, Joshua Bulagba. What does this tell us? Does it not show that it seems all of this that's happening, politicians or some politicians happen to, see the office that they occupy as an office that, a personal office that they can exercise authority over, to the extent of even using the common patrimony, the money that belongs to the state, for a personal aggrandizement. Don't you think this again will go a whole long way to bring about democracy in bad light?
Yeah, with regards to that, one thing again is that when you say democracy, what is the word democracy? What is the definition of the word democracy? A government of the people, for the people, and by the people. And so it behoves on the people to elect those that they believe will have them in mind. But then again, you can't really know who is going to have you in mind,
exactly,
or do otherwise. But so it's like I always say, and I always keep on saying this, like a recurring bidasima, that we need a reorientation of the minds of each and every citizen of Nigeria, whereby each person believes that, okay, even if I'm an elected officer or I'm an appointee or even a voter, I have the duties and rights to do this and do this. And if I carry out these things, the country will move forward. When we have that at the back of our mind, that we should put the nation first, then we will not be having issues like this.
Okay.
For crying out loud, the legislature should know that even if they have been saddled with the responsibility of either impeaching the governor if he does things that are not in line with the constitution with regards to section 188 of the constitution, those are the items that are listed out in impeaching a governor. You have to follow those things to the letter. And I always talk about these things, that the constitution is the ground norm, in as much as the legislature are those that make the laws, but those laws have been made and the constitution is supreme. There's nobody that should be over and above the constitution. Whatever the constitution states should be followed to the letter. Okay,
we have reports that the 24 members of the House of Assembly signed the impeachment notice on the governor.
Yes.
Now you are saying that there's a legal procedure.
Yes.
That should be followed.
Yes.
Now, irrespective of the fact that we have this number of persons signing the impeachment notice, does it means it's not the final?
No, this is just the first step.
Okay, the first step. So do you see the possibility of the governor surviving this impeachment?
He might. At the same time, nothing is certain.
Okay.
Nothing is certain in politics. That's one thing that we should know. The constitution expressly states, section 188, talks about the fact that one third of the House can, bring up an impeachment notice, and then the governor will be served between 7 days. And then subsequently, for them to even hear the matter, 2/3 majority of the House have to assent to it. And then the governor will be served the impeachment notice. And then thereafter, 14 days time, they will serve the governor. And then thereafter that, when it has been passed, and then if it's not watered down by the House again, then they will go back. So there are different stages of this thing. It's not just one thing that just go and impeach the governor. So each Nigerian should go and look at section 188 to get the full story.
Okay, well, reports reaching us is that we are already even having this impeachment notice as a failed attempt on the governor, by the virtue of the fact that the House of Assembly is divided, and the need for actions to be taken properly in order to bring stability to governance. Well, we're going to be taking a short break. On the program, TMI, don't forget I've been discussing with seasoned analysts and the issues rocking Rivers State government, looking at the hallowed chambers that was burnt on Sunday, and of course the governor saying that while he was on the spot visit at the Rivers State House of Assembly, he was being shot at, and of course also being tear gassed. a whole lot has been said in that direction. Reports also reaching was that the House of Assembly plans to impeach the governor and also force the deputy to resign and basically bring on board the speaker to be the acting governor. Well, all of this seem to have failed in the process, but we are following events on what is going to be happening anywhere from now, and we'll be bringing you up to speed in that regard. Do stay. We're going to be extending the frontiers of the discussion after this break.
TMI, every opinion counts.
Well, thank you for still staying with me on this morning on ITV as we look at issues concerning the River State crisis. And while we had a break, we were opportunity to be joined by a seasoned public affairs analyst and one-time SSA to the governor of Edo State on youth and community development. And he is Comrade Collins Osagai Amadi. Thanks for coming, Comrade Collins.
Philip, good morning. Viewers, good morning. I'm sorry for a little bit working behind schedule.
Well, we know that. We know the traffic congestion. But let's see your bite on the River State crisis and what Hot is bringing to democracy.
Yes, for me, it doesn't sound well to see the governor fighting his benefactors just few months to inauguration. It is not a good news to know people that when people give you some form of assistance to become governor, the best thing you can do is to start playing until relationship programs or policies in your governance. Otherwise, no matter how people had predicted they were going to fall out, at least common sense demands that even if people plans and say, oh, this marriage will not last 1 year, and the man or the woman hears about it, let them manage themselves and make sure the marriage at least lasts for 4 years, if at least not just that 1 year. But it's quite unfortunate that it's happening. But we can't look at it on one side of the coin. We really don't know what have happened. But the nature of the Wike as a person, I think the governor ordinarily should have known. Because with the information we gathered, that the fight is between former Governor Wike and the present governor. And former Governor Wike, having swayed in River as it were, haven't been the one that brought all of them to bear, including the local government chairman. I wouldn't want to say him as a person. Let's say his team. You know, they came out from his camp to become council chairman, commissioners, and what have you. And the governor firing these people in less than 12 hours simply means himself had an interior motive before now. He already had a blueprint of what he was going to do before now. Otherwise, you wouldn't tell me that all of these aides were already against you in less than 12 hours. To all the local government chairmen you have fired, you can't tell me they were all against you. All the commissioners, as it were. Do governors really have the power to start firing the way they are doing? More especially on the third tier of government.
What do you mean if they have the power as the governor of the state?
As the governor of the state, you are independent to yourself as it concerns you. Local government have their own sovereign and independent to operate at will. And this culture of governor, how can a governor who jump from government house and jump to the legislative, whether quarter or complex? What business does he have there? Those are different arms of government. The legislature should be well autonomized. And this is why we have been crying for them. The freedom of the judiciary, the freedom of the legislature, and even the freedom of the local government should not be think twice. Because even when you assume or believe that some of these persons that they believe are gentle, they force them into taking over from them, are always the dangerous people. We have seen it over the time. Just check records and history of those who have fought their principle or those who brought them to power in Nigeria, from Edo down to the others. They are the people you imagine that they are quiet and gentle people, but when they have opportunity, they become something extraordinary. And this is not supposed to be. I am not saying that there should be an overbearing godfatherism system in the politicking. But however, there must be a way. We must not always fall into the system of anarchy by way of people who have governing. Now let me also tell you, in this River State, the drama has just begun. There is no way this governor if he doesn't allow himself to have peace to rule, can rule in peace. Because the structures of anarchies have always been there in River State. And the man is challenging. He's not even a poor man. I'm sure if you go to the Gogo, it will be the richest politician in Nigeria. If you Gogo it right now. So by way of finance, I think he's there. By way of authority, he's still in power too. As the Minister of FCT, even as his allowances can help some crack team who can go out there and also be causing disarray in the system. So in every government, when you have peace in ruling, God have done something for you. But if you on your own start to want to form Superman, and those ones will tell you they want to also assist you.
All right, thank you.
So I think the governor needs to bring his head down and look inward and disappoint those who are pushing him to a quick fight. Better still, he would have carried gravel and sand and put in front of the complex instead of supporting people who have gone to inflame the
complex. Thank you, Collins Amadi.
And furthermore saying now that the complex is burnt down, he will be the one to now state where they will sit and where they will not sit. That was a complete aberration. I saw it on TV.
Thank you. We're going to be looking at the legal process. As you can see, there are issues concerning the chaos, the pandemonium that was generated by the burnt hallowed chambers of the River State House of Assembly. And we have reports where the governor went on the spot assessment visit to the hallowed chambers that was burnt. And he also said that issues concerning where he was allegedly shot at, and of course tear gassed, also is an issue that we're going to be looking at. Let's look at the legal process, because we know that it's quite an uphill task to impeach the #1 citizen of the state. But we have legal practitioners here. Before I join Ede Asenogwan, who is going to be joining us via Zoom, let's take your comment on that, Dan Ogbege.
Yes,
let's look at the legal procedure, because I know it's going to be an uphill task.
Well, the process of impeaching a governor is not as cumbersome as some people think.
Oh,
it rests on the state, on that state House of Assembly. And as we speak, those who are against the governor are the overwhelming majority. You have 24 members out of a 32-member House of Assembly.
But we are having factional speakers, don't forget, as reports is just hitting us.
Listen, you asked a question. So we have 24 members out of a 32-member House of Assembly who are against the governor. Okay. And that more than forms a vast majority to get the governor impeached. Now, when people say we have another speaker, I mean, somebody going to the press to announce that, oh, we have impeached the speaker and we have appointed another speaker or elected another speaker, does that make sense? Everybody can go to the press and say that. Can 8 members of the House of Assembly take any decision in the House of Assembly? No, it's not possible. 8 members are far below, they are the overwhelming minority in that House of Assembly. So whatever decision they take is inchoate. It's not, it cannot be valid. It's not. So let's not make them feel that they are doing anything meaningful. Yes. So what they need to do, as far as they served the impeachment notice, they will set up a panel to look at the allegations against the governor. Then they will send their recommendation to the Chief Justice of River State, who will also look at it. You cannot just say you sack the House of Assembly. 8 members of Assembly sack Chief Justice of River State. It's an aberration that we should not condone.
Okay, thank you.
So that is it. Those are the things that it will follow, and I'm sure that they will still be able to sit. You know, nothing will stop it. We should criticize greatly, because if every governor is able to mobilize people to burn down the House of Assembly each time his activities are being investigated by members of the House of Assembly.
Well, those are allegations. I think it's an allegation. It has not been established yet.
But you said it just now.
Yes, it has been burned down. Of course, yes.
It was burned down.
But you can't be pitching the governor of the state as responsible for that.
and all cried yesterday night, and the baby died this morning. I mean, the coincidence is too much.
And
You will just know.
offended.
If the members of the assembly are against you, the overwhelming majority, and suddenly the place is burned down, then the only accusing finger will be pointing at you, that you precipitated it.
Okay,
So
could you see that? Could you see that as circumstantial evidence?
Let's not hide.
Could you drive that as circumstantial evidence?
That is the point. Let's not even go there, consider whether is a mere allegation. No, these are nebulous political grandstanding.
Okay,
that will not help anyone. So that is the point. It is not as good as unless there's a political solution. As I heard that former governors of the state, Peter Odele and Sergeant Awuse, who are leaders of Rivers State, are calling the warring personalities to the table. They are calling the former governor Wike, the present governor Fubara, to the table to discuss. So if there can be political resolution, it's even better. Otherwise, the National Assembly should be free to carry out its constitutional duty.
Okay, now let's join Ede Asenogwan via Zoom, a seasoned legal practitioner, to look at this with us. Ede Asenogwan, good morning to you.
Good morning, Philip.
All right, now let's look at the issues surrounding the Rivers State crisis, and how can you say that the issues surrounding the Rivers State crisis can be tackled just now? We have issues about the factional speakers emanating from this crisis. We have also the governor saying that he was allegedly shot at. And of course, the 24 members that signed, the impeachment notice out of the 32 members. What do you make of this legally?
Well, it's very unfortunate, and I believe that it is too early in the day for Rivers State to be experiencing what they are experiencing now. For me, I think we create the problems. We start by building men into supermen, and then eventually they become monsters. And when they begin to exhibit the character of what we have built them to become, it is only then we begin to realize the damage we have done to ourselves and to our democracy. For me, I think this is a clear show of power. It's a clear show of somebody wanting to show that I'm in charge and that I own Rivers State. Nobody should be allowed to have such powers. Power in Rivers State should belong to the Rivers State. This is a situation where you find, and don't forget, Rivers State was also in the news, albeit for the very negative reason, during the election and the results that emanated from that state. So a situation where you find that somebody is in a position to impose who the governor is, to determine who all the members of the Houses of Assembly are, and then, of course, you have given him enormous powers to decide what happens in the state. So, and then, of course, by the time you become governor, by the time you become speaker, by the time you get to the House of Assembly as a member, and then somebody keeps giving you instructions from outside of the office, there is bound to be friction. And I think that is exactly what's playing out in Rivers State right now. The situation where you have 24 members of the House of Assembly facing one side. What exactly is the allegation against the governor? That all 24 members of the House signed the impeachment notice. But it is still a notice. Now, you find again that the governor too, I want to quote, but we've seen this before, maybe not at this level, tussle for power in several states. The governor of Edo State once said that, how can I be governor and not be governor? So I think that is what is happening in Rivers State. How can say Fubara be governor of Rivers and yet not be governor? So there are certain things you, as governor, that must be left to your discretion. Otherwise, you are just coming to play the script of the man who has assisted me to do this. It's not, there's nothing wrong with you assisting somebody into office. But if you have done that, even clips we see now online on social media, where even the staff for FCT himself hear some video. They say that the problem is that governors leave offices and they don't want to leave office. And that he's not putting him, he's not supporting Fubara to be governor because he wants him to go and take instructions. That once he leaves office, he has left office. So but that's not what we are seeing right now. We are seeing a situation where show that he's governor and that he's in charge of the state, and that nobody from outside of the state can continue to determine what happens in the state. So that is what we are seeing. And you find that most of these activities are completely outside of the law. They're outside of the law. People do illegal things. Nobody has regard for the law. That was played out in Rivers. It's very unfortunate that these are the kind of things we continue to see in this country. The situation where the House of Assembly will be set at place, and that was a building or a monument that was built by the Rivers State Assembly, set at place for political reasons.
Okay, now let's look at the issues surrounding the impeachment notice. Now, we seem to be having a situation where we are having factional leadership, and this doesn't seem to augur well for democracy, you know, looking at what is happening in Rivers State. What do you see as how this can be tackled in order to resolve the issues? Because some are saying that they could spot the FCT minister, former governor of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike, in all of this fight. What's your perception and how can it be resolved?
Well, anybody who says Nyesom Wike doesn't have a hand, does not know politics and does not know the person. There is no way anybody will reach a conclusion that the governor does not have a hand in this. I think there's been issue between the governor and then the immediate past governor, his predecessor in office. Whatever the issues are, I do not know. However, for the House, the battle has now been taken to the House of Assembly, seeking to impeach, not just impeach the governor, also to force the deputy governor to resign. So somebody who actually wants the governor out of office. And a situation where 24 members are saying that they have signed impeachment, whether that is true or not, I do not know. But you do not expect the governor to just sit down and put his hands and not fight back. So he too has also entered into the House of Assembly, trying to see those that he can get to his side for the purpose of stopping the impeachment process. And that is the only natural approach. So at the end of the day, all these whole battle again have to go to the party. Because except the parties decide to reconcile and put their grievances or their annoyances behind them, and the only other place that this issue will be resolved is the court. So the court will have to determine which faction is legitimate, which faction is not legitimate, which act was done validly in accordance with the rule of law, and which one was not done in accordance with the rule of law. So I think that's the way we have to go. So that at the end of the day, the judiciary will resolve this.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Eddie Asenogwa. I'll be coming back to you. Well, let's get your position. A lot he said, and we've been fighting. We've been having issues, litigations in court, election matters, and we just had one which was delivered by the Supreme Court, you know, over the presidential election petition, which we'll be bringing very shortly. But let's look at your bite. He said, if this can be resolved at that point, basically it goes to a legal battle in the court. And what do you see? How can this be really tackled? What's your advice in terms of making sure that this doesn't tilt towards the litigations that we're going to be possibly having in court?
With regards to the procedure for raising an impeachment proceeding against a sitting governor, it is spelled out expressly in the Constitution. And so if those grounds are followed, the Constitution itself states that the only time you can bring an impeachment notice or a matter with regards to impeachment to a court is if the procedure for carrying out that impeachment was not duly followed. So that means that if at the end of the day the right procedure is followed and then the governor is now impeached and seen to be impeached in the appropriate manner, then the court doesn't have the jurisdiction to even entertain that matter. What the court can do is to entertain the matters that are before, or talking about the procedure in which the governor was impeached. So that's what we keep on saying. Most persons don't understand these technicalities, like I always say. And so some people might just come up and say, the matter should go to court, the matter should go to court. But then again, the Constitution has stated the criteria to meet in order for a person now to take that matter to court if he has been impeached, if he believes to have been unduly impeached. And so these are things that must have been met. But we are just in the first stage of the impeachment proceeding. So then again,
let's see how events unfold.
We have to see how events unfold. And then again, but I keep on saying that we should know that the Constitution has stated that 1/3 of the members of the House are the ones that can bring that notice. 2/3 of the members of the House are the ones that can now pass it and then do all those kind of things. And then there are other criteria that should be met. If these things are not met, then it will just be, progressing in error and in frivolities. And at the end of the day, we saddle the courts with frivolous suits. And then when the matter is thrown out of court for lack of merit, then we keep on pointing fingers at the judiciary. It's painful. It's quite painful.
Thank you, Joshua Abolagba. Let's quickly look at the issues surrounding the Supreme Court verdict and the presidency of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. That's really greeted us a few days back. And yesterday we had reports where the presidential candidate of the PDP, Atiku Abubakar, was saying that there seemed to be a very big problem, hitting democracy in Nigeria, and Nigerian democracy needs to be saved as a result of the verdict that came out, from the Supreme Court. But let's look at the bite you have, Royal Riverbone. Though the verdict has been delivered, but reactions are still on that there seems to be a way it could be hurting democracy, being that the presidency, seem to be having issues in that regard as it pertains to having a situation where we are not able to deepen the democratic tenets in Nigeria. What do you make of this judgment? Do you see it as affecting democracy negatively?
When deepening democracy, even within our setting, we are not able to deepen ourselves. We cannot be talking about very just like we have issue on ground that we have been talking. People have been given opportunity to take issue like 2/3, as the case may be. But there is a deliberate policy from you to make sure that I cannot comment on the issue. Issue that have to do with how do we deepen democracy in the larger society.
Deliberate policy from me. What do you mean?
Of course, you deliberately prevent me not to
start with that now.
You can start with that. Of course, you have that.
You can make reference to it.
You can make reference to that. But don't forget the question being asked.
Yes.
No, the issue of Wike is an issue of concern to all of us, and that is the reason why some of us are here. And that issue need to take a very
take preeminence.
Yes. One, you can look at the submission from my very good friend. Everybody is saying the incumbent governor was helped. Somebody brought him to power. And so what? You cannot give me a goat and hold on to the rope. You must look at it. And you are all aware of the history of the man called Wike. You recall when the deputy governor of Edo State, the way and manner he was talking to deputy governor of Edo State, who is his father, who is common deputy. And very just now, you are seeing my friend here, Dan is also telling the world that the incumbent governor was just an accounting officer, just an accounting officer. With this kind of mentality, that you look at a human being and say he's just an accounting officer. Therefore, you can just anything you like.
Time is counting.
You can just it
wasn't to deprecate him.
No, that is because
it was to tell you his history.
There are some adjectives that are demeaning. There are some adjectives that are reducing. When you look at a human being and say just an accounting officer, do you know what it takes to be an accounting officer in an organization?
Okay, drive your point home.
No, that is my issue because as far as I'm concerned, I am not very happy with the situation on ground in Nigeria. Because we have been in this struggle for a very long time.
In Nigeria, or you mean Rivers State? Because
no, in Nigeria generally. In Nigeria generally.
Okay, have you left Rivers State?
Because now the issue you are saying in Rivers State is not peculiar to Rivers State. You recall in Kano State how Ganduje did not allow Kwankwaso to access Kano. Go to Lagos. You know how Bode was voted out ceremoniously.
Anambra.
Go to Anambra. Then is there anywhere you will go in this country?
Even Bayelsa
is also if there is no state in Nigeria who have never had a fair share, in terms of that, the reason is that we have very strong institutions. Nigerian institutions have things. There are no working institutions in Nigeria, and that's the reason why anything that happens.
You mean there are weak institutions?
Right. As far as I'm concerned, I don't even take the institutions serious because they can probate and reprobate. There will not be serious institutions in Nigeria. That's the reason why.
Let's govern.
If House of Assembly is a strong institution, people genuinely contested for election, and they get there. At what point that you must remain very subservient to a particular person?